Lads, I am designed for green pastures, plush cushions, perhaps an expensive and lightly alcoholic, very sweet drink in my hand. I am not designed for the constant, dour, grim dankness of the life and suffering of Sir Brante. Except we are coming back to it, aren't we? Um, on the horizon, there's a couple of things that we're looking at, none the least of which is going to be, as we've talked about previously, maybe trying out Breath of the Wild, which will be theoretically the second Legend of Zelda game I will have ever played in my entire life. The reason why there are asterisks next to that statement is because theoretically, I will not have finished playing a game by the time that we start Breath of the Wild. Keep your eyes peeled for that. And I will say, there are other things of varietal um, darkness and dankness that is around the horizon. So, specifically, there is a game setting or game universe. I don't know what the best terminology for it at this point is, called Tainted Grail. And Tainted Grail is set around some of my favorite stuff, which is Arthurian myth and legend, and then it's combining it with a little bit more sort of Viking motif and some of the grim darkness and the like hopelessness and bleakness that comes with Dark Souls kind of properties. So that's the stuff that's on the horizon. Other than just more 14, because I will literally never stop playing Final Fantasy 14. Even if the heat death of the universe happens, my ghost will still be here. But until then, you get it. And I do want to say thanks, lads, specifically Enderfriend. It's good to see you. JR, hey, hey, hey. You refuse to be late for Brante a third time, People's DM? People's DM, I have umbrage with you. We're going to meet outside the gentleman's parlor for a round of fisticuffs at 4 past the morning hour. People's DM has sprinted to the finish line in Brante. Like, I have a friend who got The Life and Suffering of Brante a long time ago, and then starting on a very recent date that I will not give you, and then in 4 days, I believe that they got almost every single achievement that there is to get, which I feel... I'm watching you, People's DM. It's good to see you, Clary. Good to see you, Mesphia. Top Hat. Ooh. Pixie, hello, hello. I do love Brante, but Brante can be a lot, right? Like, the thing is that, like, so I've just finished uploading the first episode onto Twitch. Not Twitch. That's literally the opposite of what I did. I finished uploading the first video onto YouTube. And a part of the reason was we weren't simulcasting due to syncing issues, which do let me know. I've tried some new options there as well. Again, the YouTube simulcast just needs to be taken out to pasture, but unfortunately, I am trying to still get that set up for my own personal convenience, so we'll see how it works out, but theoretically, the audio offset should not be so egregious. But yeah, if you are interested in seeing the very beginning, it's up there now. You thought I were designed for the cold and harsh landscapes of Coerthus? I mean, okay. Originally, the landscapes of Coerthus were lush and green, not to, like, you know, bring anything up, but since they've already crashed Alamut into Eorzea for 1.0 shutdown, what do you think they'll do when Final Fantasy 14 shuts down for good? Probably just bring back the Endsinger again, and then this time the Endsinger actually gets it right. You know what I mean? Endsinger 3.0. Actually, we didn't get all of the Meteons. Yeah, fair enough. You did it for the good of chat. You can provide possible content warnings. Actually, People's DM, that is unironically a very good shout, yeah. But yeah, all right. All of that being said, let's get into the ding dang thing. End 14 on a very bittersweet note. It is remarkable when you think about just how obviously Endwalker was set up to be the end, and then they just kept it going. So yeah. But all right, let's keep rocking and rolling. We've gone through childhood. We've gone through adolescence. We are going through our youth where, surprise, we are now a priest. For people who've been here since the beginning, where I was talking about sort of the comparison and contrasts to Final Fantasy XIV lore, one of the big problems with this Elish is that this Elish, for all intents and purposes, appears to be a true believer of the Twin Gods, whereas that is not necessarily the case for Elish and the Orthodox Ishgardian Church. So, there you go. I will be honest, I have no memory of this place. Bonds of friendship. You return to the lodging house one last time to gather your belongings for the move to your new home. A young man dressed in the uniform of the military academy greets you by the door. It takes you a moment to recognize Thomas. Your friend locks you in an embrace. Brante! Hey, how are you? I heard about the nasty stuff that went down in the college square. Those damn gentry would do anything to keep low-born folks under their thumb. Glad the situation resolved itself. As for me, I'm an academy cadet now. He is beaming with pride. You invite him in and chat while you pack. Tomas continues to relay the news as you walk up the stairs. I made it into the top 10, can you imagine? Did pretty well in sparring and sciences. It was all thanks to the help you gave me back in school in Anazote. I'll be studying the art of war now, and then it's a quick march to a noble title. How about you? You tell Tomas about what happened over the past few days and of the path you've chosen. He remains quiet as you speak. Both of you realize that you may never see each other again. You know, Brante, here's what I think. Oh my god, he's literally proposing to us, lads. You know, Brante, here's what I think. You may have your own path in life, but you're my friend. We gotta make sure our friendship lasts forever, no matter what happens to us. I've got really bad news for you, Tomas. If I found out you were a heretic, I would push you off of Witchdrop Point myself. Here, I brought 2 brass rings. If the old tradition is to be believed, both the rings and their wearers will always remain close to each other, no matter where fate takes them. What do you say? The two of you grew up side by side. Tomas, the audacious, hot-blooded, sharp-tongued boy who used to live next door. You can't imagine your childhood without him. But would it be right to promise him that your friendship will last forever, no matter what happens? 2 rings made of plain brass lie in his open palm. If you wear these rings, you will be bound by ties of friendship for the rest of your life. Let's be real. This is a promise ring. Tomas is giving us a promise ring. We can swear an oath of friendship, take the ring, which we cannot, apparently, keep things as they are, or end the friendship. He did stop a magical man with us. He did help us kill a witch, yeah. Yeah, it's Wirebone. I'm not saying that it's been a real scorched earth kind of strategy, but we're really keeping things as they are. If you want to see our relationships, Sophia, Magic Girl, hates us. She hates us so much. We are going to get fucking murdered by Magic Girl so much. Also, Thomas, our sweet boy, our dad's friend. Octavia, I didn't even know was a relationship that we had. Jean, do not remember. Dorius, Oton, and then Father Ulrich. These are all of the relationships that we have right now. Keep things as they are. It's not too late to woo Octavia. So Wirebone, unfortunately, we have committed to the path of the priesthood, and I do not believe priests are allowed to get married in the world of the Archnean Empire. So keep things as they are. You do not take the ring, but simply pat Tomas on the shoulder. The two of you have walked side by side ever since you were children. Those years of friendship will always be there. But nobody knows what might come next. The two of you are walking different paths in life now. Why make promises you may not be able to keep? For now, the two of you are friends, and that is all that matters. With a sigh, Tomas puts the rings back in his pocket. I can't believe we're not going to smooch Tomas.
Yeah, you're right. Nobody knows what's going to happen to us. Okay then, but let's not make any big promises. But at least we got tonight, right, Brante? How about we take a walk downtown and talk about old times?
You wonder, the fact that the status is remained friends is so funny to me. You wander to the banks of the river Reglata. The breeze blowing from the bay feels cool and gentle on your face. You recall the first time the two of you fought, and your school days, and all the adventures and escapades you had. Before you know it, the sun has set. You say goodbye to each other. You do not know if you will ever meet again. We did get some willpower back, though. Christ, we need more willpower. We are tired. The year 1135 fall, a letter from home. After deciding to enroll in the Divine Seminary, you write back home. It isn't an easy letter to write. Father sent you to the capital to enroll in the college. But who could have predicted Archduke Monrogue's assault on the college or the revelation that found you here? Your family replies quickly. You receive their letter in just a week. Father is not happy with your choice, just as you expected.
My son, I realize that these are difficult times in the capital. Nobody expected an attack on the college. Had you been more firm, you could have upheld your right to study there. Cornelius Tempest will ensure that the college opens again, yet you have already rejected the nobleman's lot. It seems your grandfather was right. But your choice is made, so follow it and study to become a priest. I did not send you to the capital for this, but I accept your choice.
That is not the interaction that I have with higher education. Mother, on the other hand, supports you eagerly. My dearest son, I am so proud that you have chosen to follow your destiny, even if it means going against your father's expectations. I always knew you were born to carry the twins' word in the world. This is as it should be. Nathan echoes mother's sentiments. The path of the faith may be even more noble than the path of a noble. I'm going to go to the seminary in Anazote like you. Nathan is going to be the face of apostasy. He is going to break off to the new faith, and we'll be an inquisitor of the old faith, and we're going to have to kill our brother Nathan. And I'm here for it. We're going to live the same lot, you and I. You always show me the way. You are not surprised to learn that Stefan and Gloria are disappointed in you, each for their own reasons. How could you defy Father's will? It cost him so much time and money to send you to the capital. But alas, what can we do? If the lot... I do not remember Stefan's voice. If the lot of the clergy is your destiny, then so be it. We of the noble lot will attend to our family's future from now on. I wanted you to find your own way, you know, and you defied Father's will, all to bend to the will of the church. I hope this new lot fits you well. Okay, Gloria. Nathan's relationship with me, it be what it be. Our dad, a little less happy with us. But it's, you know what, sometimes not kinslaying Elish arc. Hey, if you think Elish is a kinslayer now, what's your opinion on spoilers? Yeah, you can see that happening actually, I'm saying. Made him sound more haughty and proud. Oh. My name's Stefan Brante, and I'm in charge here. Searching for the truth. Lessons at the seminary start early in the morning. Before the lessons come 2 prayers, one privately in your room, then a communal prayer in the refectory. The morning bell eases you from sleep in the morning. You adjust to the new routine more easily than you would have expected. The seminary students are quite numerous. Fun fact, I actually, during my childhood, I was baptized Lutheran, and at one point in time, my pastor asked me if I was interested in seminary school. And then I got to like my teens, and like my godfather had passed away, and I was like feeling super lost, but I had been an terror for my pastor. And so I was like, do you still think I should go to seminary school? And my pastor looked at me and said, no, I don't think you should. And I was like, damn. So anyways, that's the story on how I lost the faith. The seminary students are quite numerous. You've counted more than 30 young adults studying with you. There are both boys and girls, but the girls already cover their hair and keep everyone at a distance. Most of the time, the boys and girls study separately, unless a lesson is of particular importance. The classroom is vast, and the boys and the girls sit separately, watching the aged, unassuming teacher with rapt attention. His name is Father Jeremiah Hag. He writes a word in large letters on the blackboard, Isatius. I love whiteboards and blackboards in terms of like the concept of them, right? To be like, you know, like it's super cool to like do that. Y'all, writing on whiteboards and like blackboards, that is actually a skill. The number of times in life I was like, this is going to be a piece of cake. And then I stood there and then I just made the ugliest handwriting you ever did see. Especially when you're trying to do it fast. It is a name you know well. Isatius was the disciple of the twins and the elder's favorite. He wrote the 2 books that lay down the teachings of the twins. The first book tells of how the twins are will and law and love. The second book tells of the lots and how each of the 3 estates is granted its own lot. For the entire first semester, you will study only these 2 books, for they are the foundations of the faith. Father Jeremiah gives a passionate lecture about Isatius and describes his life. His words are filled with reverence. After all, Isatius surely was second to none when it comes to understanding their divine providence. After a dozen days in the seminary as a student, you hear a rumor. Luke, the patriarch of Archnia, is about to come here, and the teachers are preparing themselves. Father Jeremiah informs you of the patriarch's arrival a few days later. Damn! What do you mean my handwriting isn't that great to begin with, Wirebone? Sheesh! Short, decisive strokes. Very fair, people's DM. It is a tradition that every year the Patriarch of the Capital Province personally teaches a class for the first-year students of the seminary in Eterna. The lesson in question will be held in 3 days. We teachers are aware that many students are too preoccupied with their current studies to attend this, lecture. But I assure you, should you not attend this lesson, it will not affect you in any way. The students exchange wary glances. Skipping classes is normally grounds for harsh punishment. This uncharacteristic mercy is only a few words away from saying you ought to skip the lecture. Your curiosity is piqued. What is making the seminary teachers treat the patriarch's lesson like this? Perhaps you should hear what he has to say and see for yourself. You decide to attend the lecture. The day comes. The lecture hall is half empty. There are several teachers in the hall as well, keenly eyeing every student who has chosen to attend this class. A few minutes behind schedule, Patriarch Luke arrives. You recognize his broad shoulders and thick brown beard right away. His eyebrows are thick too, and brown, half-squinting eyes gaze out from under them. He greets the students with a smile and begins. The air in the seminary is so inspiring. There was a time when I, too, studied the teachings of the twins within these walls. My mind was overflowing with questions, but I found answers to only a few of them. I believe that many among you find little satisfaction in the answers that have come down to us from the far-away past, and I believe you will yet find the answers that eluded me. More than 1,000 years ago, the twins came to our world. They brought us knowledge. After true death, each of us shall face divine judgment and retribution, and the fate of each of us in the hereafter depends on the righteousness of our worldly lives. You are students of the seminary. You are now studying the teachings of Asatius, the foundations of our faith. This student of the elder twin lovingly embraced all their words, all their guidance, and brought it to us who live in the present. But how true is it that the lots, the bonds that hold our present society together, were indeed established by the gods? There are whispers from the teachers' seats. They are not happy with these words, but none of them sees fit to interrupt the patriarch. Fun fact about the world of Final Fantasy XIV, if you've done the Scholastic quest line, you know there is a, shadow organization called the Holy Body, and the Holy Body would straight up murk Luke from, the nearest church tower, you know what I mean? They would just, eliminate him and then replace him with another, member of the clergy, which does beg the question, why doesn't the old faith have something like that? But anyways. Teachers, why are you here? Us. Well, no one told me what the lecture was about. Yeah. Apart from the written works of Asatius, nope, that's not it. There is no proof that the twins established the lots and told all people to follow them. While they were present in this world, neither the elder nor the younger ever mentioned separating people into 3 estates. The twins only told us of the judgment we shall face in the hereafter, and not of the laws by which they will judge us. That being said, I will ask you a question, the very questions my brethren fear so much. Is there not a chance Asatius was in error? For no mortal man is free of error? And is there not a chance we all are in error by repeating his words? Instead, would it not be more sensible for everyone to interpret the teachings of the twins individually? Perhaps the solution in the teachings of Asatius was right for Asatius himself, and not for all of us. The teacher's displeasure grows louder and louder with Luke's every word. Finally, Father Jeremiah grows indignant enough to interrupt the lecture. This profane... I only have so many old man voices. This profane speech must end. How can a man of your rank be so imprudent and irresponsible as to confuse young people with such ungodly heresy? You will find that no soul in this very hall will ever doubt the truth as it is written in the sacred books. To this, Patriarch Luke smiles again. I am a mortal man, like Saint Asatius, so I may be in error as well.
If this is indeed so, and no student of the seminary shares my concern enough to dedicate a paper to the questions I have asked, then I will curtail my dangerous speech so as to not confuse these bright young souls. But if perchance you are the ones in error, if one of these bright young souls does in fact share my concerns, then my lectures on my outlook on Esatius and his writings will continue.
The patriarch leaves. For a time the teachers converse in low voices. Then Father Jeremiah casts a watchful eye over the students and rises.
It is natural for young people such as you to face the eternal truths with doubt, and the words you have heard may have sown themselves among those useful doubts. But listen to what I am about to say. There is no place for such impiety in the life of a true priest. Heed my words, all of you, and consider the danger well before you allow such dangerous thoughts into the temple of your mind. There can be no doubt that the Patriarch of Archnia could never call the true faith into question. However, youths such as you, who are only beginning their service to the twins, may easily be led astray by such ideas.
You know, this is a quick sidebar, but I am thinking of, do you guys remember that era in Renaissance Italy where, like, there was a warrior pope and he decided to, like, that he was going to try and conquer the neighboring Italian kingdoms? And, like, this was, like, God, I imagine this had to be, like, 1500s, 1600s. Do you think we get a warrior pope era?
So be mindful of your thoughts and doubts and weed out any impiety, for the path of heresy can lead only to the eternal suffering.
You return to the monastic cell in which you live. The books of Esatius are right there on the shelf. You open the second book and run over the words about the lots. These words are the truth of truths. You learned them by heart when you were very young. How could anyone ever doubt them? Yet, you cannot deny that there is at least one truth in Patriarch Luke's words, and this truth is gnawing at your mind. Esatius was indeed a mortal man. And as a mortal, he could have been in error. He could have gotten it all wrong. These thoughts fill you with doubt. So we cannot support Patriarch Luke. We are still so fucking tired. We can reject the doubt and strengthen your belief. Our theology is 14. Or we can seek comfort in prayer. This Elish is truly gone off the deep end. So, yeah, Pixie, it's one of my favorite periods. It's like around the same time as the Conditore. I don't know if that's the actual correct pronunciation either, but the period of Renaissance Italy where there was like a pope who was actively like trying to cause wars against the neighbors, genuinely quite funny to me. The writings of Esatius are the very foundation of the faith. The lots are the twins' will, a timeless constant throughout the ages. There can be no error. There is no place for sinful doubt when it comes to this. Yeah, okay. Soon the day ends, and the next day begins. Before you know it, another week passes. You immerse yourself in learning the works and functions of a priest. You read both books of Esatius over and over again, and learn the best parts by heart, on prayers, on cloister and seclusion, on confession. You attend many lectures on the history of the church, on the pivotal changes that followed the twins' great descent, on the strong ties that bind the faith and the state together in the empire, and on the dogmas of the church. You also learn the proper way to speak, so that the sound of your sermon reaches every ear in the temple. Oh, we're actually learning oration. That's very funny. You work hard to learn and memorize the sacred works. Soon you start learning how to properly cite them in order to back up your own judgments. There is an answer to every question in the works of Esatius. You just need to know how to find it. The teachers praise you now. Father Jeremiah is elated by your knowledge of Esatius's teachings. By the end of the semester, nobody even remembers Patriarch Luke's visit. Father Jeremiah does mention his words in passing at the very end of the semester when everyone hands in their research papers. He nods in approval as he thumbs through a stack of paper sheets covered in handwriting. That Pope would absolutely name his horse his successor. I mean, surely the twins would tell you if we were wrong. Exactly, Underfriend. It is funny to note that the Orthodox Church of Ishgard does seem to engage in, I don't remember the name of the practice, but like when you get a clerical name from the church instead of your original name, because there is a little bit of question about whether or not Archbishop Thornton was previously of a substantial noble house, right? Because the idea that he creates the family, the house de Borel, in the acknowledgement, in the absorption of his bastard son, Amaric de Borel. So whether or not de Borel is actually Thornton's previous house, or whether or not it was created entirely from scratch, is nothing that has ever been directly answered. But either way, right, like it is something funny to think about how, like, in order for you to attain the position of archbishop, ostensibly you're not supposed to leave a successor behind. But yeah, virtue names, maybe, Ender Friend, that might be the practice that I'm thinking of. Like how whenever a pope is like elevated to the seat of pope by like the cardinals in the real world, like sometimes they will take a name that is not their like birth name, right? And I don't remember what that is. Very good. It is fair to say that no student of the seminary went so far astray as to defend the impious notions of heresy. And truth be told, I am happy to know I was right about you. It is my hope that your example will serve to guide even your superiors within the faith away from such senseless conjecture. But right now I want to read some passages from one of these research papers that impressed me the most. Of all the papers in the thick stack, he chooses yours. You did go the extra mile to write it. It is an in-depth study. We're a fucking nerd. It is an in-depth study that attempts to prove that the twins themselves were speaking through Esatius, and that the teachings of the lots come not from mortal man, but from the gods. Father Jeremiah clearly enjoys reading a few choice paragraphs from your work, nodding in agreement all the while. He gives the conclusion of the paper particular attention. The lots are involatile and sacrosanct, and they are the foundations of the state of society. They are the will and gift of the twins. What an exemplary statement, young Brante. So our theology went up to 15. We're at the top of initiate. Our manipulation has gone up to the top of naive. We are so dumb. But you know how it goes. Kings used to do that too. That's right, Pixie. I did forget about that. Yeah. You'll make a good High Inquisitor someday, Brante. Oh, I can only dream. Shield of the Old Faith. Our willpower is not greater than or equal to 0, so this is bad, I think. You side with the Old Faith and seek to defend its foundations. Lads? Lads, I don't mean to... Interesting. Year 1136, winter, the trial of the 50. You have lived another year in the capital. Eterna has been shaken by what is now known as the trial of the 50. 50 people stand trial at once, all prominent members of several political circles. They are accused of treason, and conspiracy against the crown. The accused spoke in favor of reducing the power of nobles and granting more rights to the common estate. There was no mention of rebellion, yet those words alone were enough to indict them. Every session of the trial is open to the public. It is a show of power made to discourage people from forming such circles ever again. You attend one of these sessions. The 50 face their verdict: forced labor in the mines of Magra and Illyria for regular members, and true death for their members, 6 men and 1 woman. Their public execution takes place in the central square of Eterna. You remember the woman. Her name was Annie Siren. She made a speech before her execution. A young woman, not too tall, her face almost plain, with long bangs over her eyes. She looks calm, even at this moment. You cannot believe she is about to leave this world forever. Annie Siren takes a look around before she speaks. Her voice is quiet, but you are close enough to hear every single word. She says she is happy to give her lives fighting for the rights of the people. Her cause will never die, Annie claims. Others like her will continue their work in hiding, for their cause is right and just. She is dragged away from the others. They put a sack over her head and tighten a noose around her neck. A hand yanks on the lever, and the 7 dangle in the air. Their feet tremble at first, then grow still. There are gasps and cries of discontent in the crowd. Uh-oh! There's currently a struggle for power, and people are discontent. Okay. So we got Shield of the Old Faith. We shouldn't have gotten Shield of the Old Faith. Does it not give us... Does it not give us the event because we have -5 willpower? Like, have we just lost it? I don't... Oh man, we are missing a lot, huh? Oh, I didn't miss an event. Okay, thank you, People's DM. The Black Book. Your studies at the seminary continue. You assist with the preparations for church holidays and study the accounts of the twins' lives in the sacred scriptures. Just triggered that as a consequence of our actions. Okay, thank you. Excuse me. The seminary sends some of its students on a pilgrimage to the holy site of the Empire. To the holy sites of the Empire to follow in the footsteps of one of the twins. A large group of these pilgrims returns to the seminary several weeks after your studies begin. Among the students in this group is a young woman who looks familiar. She holds her head high as her brown eyes, filled with wisdom and strength, study you attentively. She approaches you first. It is Jeanne? Jenny. You met in the past, by the silver tree in Anazote. Jeanne was but an acolyte at the temple by the tree at that time, but now she is in Eterna like you, almost ready to complete her studies. I remember you. I'm glad you're here. So you found your way to the priestly lot after all. It's nice to see a familiar face from your former life, and also one who is not a witch who is going to kill you. You start spending more time with Jean, praying and reading the sacred scriptures together. Most of the time you discuss theology, but the more you learn about each other, the more you start discussing your lives before the seminary. You tell her how Mother prepared you to serve the twins ever since you were a child, from daily prayers to following your lot in everything. As for me, I don't know who my parents are. I grew in the orphanage by the temple. Studying at the seminary has been my goal since as long as I can remember. The priests were kind to me, and now it is my sacred duty to serve the twins. With the first term exams now behind you, you are allowed to visit the antiquarium, a special storage chamber for sacred relics and artifacts that harken back to the history of the faith. Gonna get a cool sword. Gonna take Tear Fang out of the Antiquarium. You invite Jean to go Jean to go there with you. The inside of the antiquarium is quiet. The items you see beyond the glass panes and on the shelves are nothing short of amazing. Most of the time, though, it's like the jawbone of a particular member of the faith or whatever, right? One thick, ragged tome is an original work inked by Asatius. You see old images of the twins' likenesses, faded with time. You behold the lash used in the very first sacraments for the low-born lot. The relics made of silver, the twins' blessed metal, are kept in a separate chamber. You take some time poring over these handcrafted sacred symbols. The shelves on the opposite wall are covered with silver collars, large and small. They're so elegant. The things we make are much simpler nowadays. Always cast from silver, not forged by hand. Look, those old collars even had names stamped into the silver. William, I don't quite catch your meaning, but it's good to see you. The Sword of St. George is just chilling in there, awaiting your touch. Golly, we're allowed to dream. Another wall is covered in thin silver slabs, prayers to the twins etched into the metal. After taking the priest's sacrament, any priest may use such a silver slab to call the gods' power down. Is that real? Another wall is covered with thin silver slabs, prayers to the twins etched into the metal. After taking the priest's sacrament, any priest may use such a silver slab to call the gods' power down upon their foes and work wonders even outside the temple grounds. Is that real? Do you think these might be copies? Silver slabs disappear when they're used, don't they? Just imagine the temptation, working wonders anywhere just like that. Chat, is this real? The smite stick, yeah. No swords here for anyone. No! There is one more chamber at the farthest end of the antiquarium, with only one relic within. The only room here that is guarded. Your voices trail off when Jean and you feel the eyes of the chamber guard upon you. He bears a scroll with a silver seal on his Cossack. An Inquisitor. Yes. What the Inquisitor is guarding is a black book, its pages blackened seemingly by fire. The book lies inside a spacious cage forged of time-faded silver. You are not allowed to approach it, the Inquisitor says. What is it, you ask? The Inquisitor sighs and glances at the silver cage with worry and scorn. This is the most dangerous and vile of all the relics in the land, he says. It is a monument to the Dark Ages, when Archneans used to fight one another for power, a time when one of the great Archnean dynasties defied the twins' chosen tempests. The Archneans who owned this book was Malanitis, the burned and ruined building by our home. In Anazote, that's where our sister Gloria was assaulted. Driven by helpless rage, he scorched the land of Magra and ravaged the Imperial army with a terrible curse. But the twins' power stripped him of his dark sorcery, and the Holy Order brought him down. The book within this cage contains his sinister spells? Y'all, I am losing it. What the Inquisitor says seems unbelievable. The books you have read say that all of Milanitis' relics were destroyed. He explains, however, Apparently, the book was utterly impossible to immolate. Even with the gods' divine aid, the countless raging pyres it was subjected to could only blacken the pages with ash, not destroy them. The black magic remains within the book, preserving its blasphemous sorcery. Y'all, did we have an option? Y'all, did we have an option to become a magic man? Are all of the priests, like, are all of the, like, magic users out there just, like, worshipping, like, a third secret god? One of the triplets, actually. The twins' faith is sick. I'm not gonna lie, I did actually feel a little disappointed that we went down the, like, the true faith route. I was hoping that there were, like, there's another setting that we really enjoy where inquisitors are not so closely tied with the faith. But if this is true, like if any of these things that they're saying is not nonsense, yeah, I'm vibing out with it. So did we just find the Necronomicon? Yeah. I mean, and that answers your question, Ender Friend. The reason why they kept it was they couldn't destroy it, right? You like to imagine they only tried fire, not anything else, not cutting, not water, just fire. Well, you know. And it's good to see you, Vampire Lord. Hey, hey, hey. Milanidas. I'm gonna try to keep that pronunciation in mind, as in the city of Milano. I'm gonna try to keep that in mind. I have a terrible track record with pronunciations, William, but yeah. Oh no, I guess we'll need to go and play Brante again. Oh no, we're vibing out, yeah. Oh no, hold on. Okay. But the book alone was not enough. Wait, sorry. Okay. But the book alone was not enough. The rebellious duke turned his very land into a weapon by destroying it. So we know Anazote, we know that the fields out there are no longer really able to support life. And so that's a part of the reason why Magra, I believe, is so heavy in the mining industry, is because they need to export that in order to purchase foodstuffs. The Holy Order, the Swords of the Twins, surrounded Milanides' forces along with the Imperial army. Their victories were numerous, for true faith guided them towards the city of Anazote. With no other way to prolong the war and nourish his magical powers, the rebellious duke squeezed all life from the land of Magra and transformed it into dark sorcery. And so the province of Magra, ruled by Tsar Milanides, became an infertile desert during that war. The people of Milanides began dying from sickness and famine, and many fled to the neighboring lands. Yet this evil act did little to stop the twins' true believers. By the prayer of the priests, the gods took away the dark magic of Tsar Milanides and dispelled the accursed sorcery he had wrought. The Holy Order dealt swiftly with the remnants of Milanides' army, while the Inquisition captured all the mages and witches hiding in Anazote. Tsar Milanides himself was executed as an oathbreaker, possessed by heresy, who had destroyed the fertile lands of Magra and starved thousands of his subjects to death. Be wary of magic, for magic is an ungodly power that distorts and plagues all it touches, and so must be eradicated, the Inquisitor concludes. Oh no! Is Jean Magic Girl? These words seem to affect Jean deeply. She turns pale and walks out of the room containing the encaged book. You thank the priest for his story and follow her. You find the poor girl sitting on a bench in the park by the temple, her face hidden in her arms. You lightly tap on her shoulder and ask what is troubling her. I'm... When I came to Eterna, I wasn't alone, you know. I had a friend, almost a sister. Her name is Alice. I had one goal here, to serve the twins, but she wanted to be an actress. I argued against it, told her that acting was in defiance of her lot, but Alice wouldn't listen. She's performing in taverns now and in markets on holidays. I went to one of her performances once, just the other day, in fact, and I saw her eyes glowing yellow. Every time her eyes flashed, the people would applaud her. And she's not just defying the law, she's using magic. Alice is practicing the dark arts, confounding people's minds with sorcery. I was far enough away, her spell didn't reach me. I want to, but I can't tell the Inquisition about her. Alice is my only real friend in the world, and she's a witch! I don't know what to do! Jean's shoulders tremble with anxiety. Her brown eyes are red with tears as she looks at you, hoping for guidance that will save her from error. What do you tell Jean? Tell no one about Alice. Inform the Inquisition. Guide your friend to the right path. We are going to go on a very quick break, I think. If Ahmad is around and interested in starting a poll, I do need to inform you that these polls are advisory at best, and we're going to do what we're going to do. But between tell no one about Alice, inform the Inquisition, and or guide your friend to the right path, we'll see how it rocks and rolls. But to you, my friends, I will say we're going on a very quick break. You know the score. It's anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. We'll try to keep it on the 3-minute side. When we return, more of the life and suffering of Sir Brante. See you soon. And we are gonna catch up on chat a little bit because I know I am unfortunately a little behind on stuff. We try to keep narrative beats as cohesive as possible, and that's mainly for the VODs that are going up on YouTube, but you get it. William says there's a second game being announced, so loads and loads of Brante coming up. Hell yeah. I did see that they were announcing something about something set in the universe, so I was very curious about whether or not that was the exact verbatim. But People's DM is unfortunately bringing to mind another either fantastical or science fiction, which in a way is also fantasy iteration. Burn the heretic, purge the mutant, hate the Xenos. So you get it. What lot exactly covers acting? Enderfriend, I imagine that would be the nobles lot, right? Because it's the idea of like leading people's thoughts and minds, right? You've not done priest path? Hell yeah, People's DM. William, no sweat on that because that's not a super big thing, but we generally try to keep playthroughs a little bit blind. We are also going with hidden consequence in Ironman despite it being our first playthrough because it does make me agonize over all our choices. Over all our choices. So yeah. What was the choice that won from the poll actually? Yeah. Ain't no way we're letting a witch go. Well. Yeah, Brante is very good. I would call it I love flowery language and prose, right? I love a nice, bitter, grim narrative. And I have more or less been using one of my own characters to sort of flesh out what Brante would do. We're a little more religious than I would necessarily think of them, but I'm loving it, so yeah. Nobleman's Lot, yeah, exactly. Of course, the poetry. It was a tie. Gotcha. But let's rock and roll. And get back to more of the life and suffering of Sir Brante. If it was a tie, we're gonna go for the option that we got by virtue of being able to unlock it, right? If there's anything that we're getting through unlocking, presumably that means that like it's going to be better. I genuinely don't know though if anyone has done a compilation of like all of the outcomes and whether or not the like conditions met outcomes are not necessarily better. But yeah, guide your friend to the right path. You put your hand in Jean's, just as you did on that day in Anazote under the silver tree. She's a little startled. She looks at your hand and then into your eyes. She cannot take away her friend's magic, you say. Oh no, shit, we should have narked! Wait, oh, it's fine. She cannot take away her friend's magic, you say, and if she tells the Inquisition, she will lose someone she loves. Perhaps it would be best to speak with her friend and guide her to the true path, like a priestess would, and hope that the girl can see the error of her ways and make the right decision. Oh, okay. This is like a middle ground, sure. Jean is not wearing the cassock yet, but for the sake of her friend's life and soul, she must act like a priestess. Jean wipes away her tears as she looks at you, first with distrust, then with a hint of a smile. But don't you think I'd be defying my lot by doing this? You shake your head. The two of you no longer have to work or suffer like commoners, you say. You already live under the lot of the clergy here at the seminary. Guiding souls to the true path is already your duty. She withdraws her hand from yours carefully, then wipes away the tears and fixes her hair. You're right. I'm sorry for being so weak. I shall act as befits a true priestess. I mean, I guess if we get Alis to actually join the faith. You sit on the bench under the tree with her for quite some time, discussing how the will of the twins is changing the world. Through the silver tree of Anizote, magic will soon be gone from this world. Oh, okay. And when the mages are no more, the twins' sacred wonders of order and purity are all that will remain. Jean is smiling now. Her tears have dried. This discussion brings you peace, just like the one beneath the silver tree. Jean does not mention her friend again. Several days later, you ask her about Aelix. I managed to guide her back to her lot. She's back in Anizote now. She's going to work and suffer as her lot demands. I'm happy for her, but it's a shame our friendship seems to have come to an end. As you think about this, you realize something. You also guided Jean herself towards her lot on the bench that faithful day. Is she aware of this? Why is our status wavering? Oh no, because we went new faith. Oh no! Is this actually our first playthrough? Yes, it is. Twins are gonna smite everyone for killing off the mages. I mean, maybe. They have not said anything. But okay, we did get a little bit more manipulation, which is good, because being a naive inquisitor seems like a bad day. Aelis's rescue. Aelis's death is prevented. You save the enigmatic singer known as the Golden Voice from an untimely death. This feels bad for us, the true Faith Inquisitor, or the old Faith Inquisitor. Okay. Summer 1136. The Feast of the Air. The capital is preparing for a great celebration, the coming of age of Gerion Tempest, heir to the throne. So he's the crown prince, or I guess, what is it called in an empire? Is it still a crown prince? Ribbons and flags flutter in the wind, the streets are scrubbed clean, and the scent of flowers fills the air. You, too, set some time aside to join the celebrations. It is not often that you can see the ruling family of the empire firsthand. The celebration day comes, and Eterna is abuzz. A festive procession starts on the streets. Students from the college and cadets from the military academy march in front, lined up in columns, and other citizens follow suit. You join the parade around the tail of the procession. Before long, it reaches the square in front of the Emperor's palace. Are we going to see the heir get killed? The ruling dynasty of Tempest observes the parade from the palace balcony. They are joined by the Emperor's highest dignitaries and province overseers. For the first time in your life, you see Emperor Uther II with your own eyes. There, high up above. You know we love us a good Uther. You know, listen, Uther Tempest, right there with my good friend Uther Pendragon. The columns of college students and academy cadets comes to a halt at the balcony and salutes the Emperor with their mottos. Their mottos? The Emperor raises his hand in a gesture of benevolent greeting. Then his voice echoes across the square. You can hear him easily, even from so far away. I accept your gratitude, my loyal subjects. Take pride as you wield your knowledge and valor in service to the Empire. All who are worthy will be ennobled by the mantle, by my grace. The nobles to be cheer the Emperor's words, but then Archduke Monrogue steps onto the balcony, and their jubilation gives way to murmurs of discontent. Everyone here remembers all too well how the ruler of Monia tried to shut down the college by force. Still, the Archduke is the de facto leader of the Archnean gentry. He is a force to be reckoned with, even for the Emperor.
Hail your emperor, common folk! Be forever obedient and grateful for the good graces you do not receive by birth.
But then everyone grows silent. A young, slender Archnean with a shy smile comes forth. There are whispers in the crowd. That's Prince Geryon, heir to the throne, student of Cornelius, promise, and the hope of the common estate. Ooh. That's some good PR he's got, one way or the other. To the left of Geryon is his younger brother, Flavius. He is baffled by the sight of the parade below. Too young to process what he is seeing, Flavius is going to perish. May the twins be kind to you, my future subjects. I promise to repay you in kind and help you prosper in your loyal service to the Empire. Exalted by these words, the nobles-to-be roar as one. All hail Prince Geryon. Another figure steps into view next to the heir. He is an Archnean, elegantly dressed, and his mantle bears the Tempest colors. He raises his arms, about to make a speech.
Long live Prince Geryon! Students of the college, cadets of the academy, time and again you have proven yourselves to the Empire by word and deed. Today is a day of great celebration, and in honor of Prince Geryon, you must ask the Emperor to guarantee forever the right of distinguished common folk to be ennobled by the mantle. So ask now!
Interesting. The cadets and students freeze in hesitation. They exchange glances, unsure whether to follow the words of the Emperor's own brother. On the balcony high above, Prince Geryon also remains still, listening to every reaction from the crowd. Geryon is manipulating the developments, right? Like, that man has his finger on the pulse. Archduke Monroe briskly steps into view once more. He takes several seconds to observe the crowd before he speaks.
Imperial subjects, what the Emperor's brother wishes to say is that you must always remember that you owe your status to the Tempest dynasty. The Emperor accepts your gratitude and sends you off with his blessing. You may leave now.
Commotion and murmurs spreads over the crowd as some of the nobles-to-be refuse to follow Archduke Monroe's order. There are shouts heard here and there. The law! We ask for the law! The academy officers and teachers of the college urge them to fall in line and resume the parade, but the tension is rising. The crowd slowly grows enraged and unruly. An Imperial Guard cavalry regiment emerges from the palace. Ooh. Poor Sophia. They start slowly advancing on the crowd, hands on their swords, pushing people out of the square. The commoners are now running left and right. You too have to move away. This quickly quells the commotion in the square, and the cavalry withdraws. Emperor Uther II appears on the balcony again. Archduke Monroe stands by his side. The square falls silent at the sight of the sovereign. My subjects, I can see how overjoyed you are for Prince Geryon, but your show of reverence and gratitude was clear enough. Now obey my will, continue the parade, and sing the praises of the Tempest dynasty that has given you so much. The square obediently lines up in columns once again. The bout of defiance is in the past now, and they resume the festive parade through the city streets. Glory to Emperor Uther. Glory to Prince Geryon. Okay, so the power goes back to the status quo. Second game will apparently feature Geryon. It is Crown Prince. Okay. Given how Arthur was conceived, I'm not sure good is the way to describe Uther. I mean, Pixie, I'm not going to lie. Lamort d'Arthur is not kind to Uther, but you know, there have been several retellings about Twoo Love. They are mainly there to make Uther's siring of Arthur a little bit less, you know. You heavily suggest Noble playthrough next? Yeah, definitely, especially with the sort of character that I had in mind, Noble is the correct course. But you know, divine power is not something that I will laugh at. Best Gaius performance in years? William, I instantly forgot the voice I gave Gaius, so you know. Could have been me. It could have been me! There are days when you receive letters from home. Father's writing is very reserved. He mostly discusses events and work in Magra and writes very little about the family. It makes me proud that I have managed to teach Stefan how to handle our affairs at home. Your older brother behaves impeccably at the society balls and receptions that we host. He has already made several crucial acquaintances. But Gloria has a different opinion of Stefan. She thinks your older brother is taking more and more after grandfather. Stefan is a lot like grandfather. It's in his manners, his posture, his voice. He even dresses just like him. He used to be aloof around me and we barely talked in the past, but now he always blames me and tears me apart. I can't take it anymore. He walks all over me all the time and treats me like a housemaid. Mother writes to you. From her letters, you learn that Nathan just barely managed to graduate from school. It makes me sad to admit that Nathan has none of the talents you have, Mom! The other day he told me he won't even try to study in the capital. He says he won't be able to pass the exams. Damn, just like me for real, for real. I find solace only in the nights Nathan and I spend together reading the scriptures and our walks to the church by the silver tree. He accompanies me every time. Your sister and younger brother write about Mother too, and they say the same thing about her health. She now spends more time locked away in her chambers to brood. Gloria does her best to accompany Mother when she leaves home, and Nathan's letters mention her steps echoing in the halls in the middle of the night. There is one more thing Nathan mentions in his letters. Stefan and Gloria have been fighting very often these days. Stefan always tries to get under Gloria's skin, and she answers him in kind. Then Stefan calls her a lowly commoner to make her shut up. You always tremble in excitement each time you see a new letter from with the seal of your home province. That is not how I would respond to the letters that I have just read. Your fate is still bound tightly to your families, no matter the distance between you. Yeah, of course, Stefan has a worse relationship with us. Gloria to 0. Nathan to +1. Or no, Nathan is also went down. Wild. Word isn't favorable about the new game. Whoa. With what precious little you know about Elish, maybe Lotless would fit? Really, People's DM. Okay. The boy knows his limits, fair. When the middle child is the best one and is acknowledged as such, never. Elish is like, give me the tea, apparently. Tears you apart. You probably watch too many... William! Yeah. Matters of faith. The months fly by now. Every day at the seminary is filled with study and work. You're being trained to live by your new lot. There can be no rest from service to the twins. You are well acquainted with your instructors now, and with each passing day you come closer to being their equal. Every month you and your class learn more about the sacred scriptures and the life and routine of the church, and how to guide others to live by their lots. You learn about the founding of the church and the 3 councils at which the twins' first disciples first established the dogmas of the faith. When the first council met, they pronounced that the twins' faith would be the only faith throughout the empire for all eternity, and that the Tempest dynasty would rule the land by their will, for they were the chosen by the gods. Of course, the divine mandate, right? The First Council also condemned all magic within the Empire other than the wonders sent down by the twins themselves. The Inquisition was created to enforce the order established by the twins and cleanse all heresy and sorcery from hearts, minds, and bodies. Mages and witches were offered two choices. They could either accept the collar and reject their power, or perish in the ritual of purifying flame. Once, when the Second Order met, the Holy Order was founded. It became the mighty sword wielded by the Church against its enemies. Nobles who sought to serve the twins with their arms formed the ranks of this order. Can you join the Holy Order in Brante? Because you know my paladin instincts are kicking in. When the Third Council met, the two books of Prophet Esatius and the accounts of the twins' own lives were deemed the sacred scriptures of the faith. It was then pronounced that no more councils would ever be convened, so that the foundations of the faith could never be warped. The main dogmas of the faith are the same for everyone. However, the seminary students prepare for the lot that lies ahead in different ways. Some of them study the scriptures, spending hours at the temple every day, attending every sermon and mastering the art of preaching. Jean often appears among their ranks. These preachers ardently follow the age-old traditions and dogmas, doing everything just as it was done hundreds of years ago. Others, you call them supplicants, rarely attend sermons, but spend plenty of time in prayer rooms and temples and by the altars. You know these supplicants are seeking the twins within themselves and looking for them in the signs and revelations they experience. There are still others who are never seen during sermons or in prayer rooms. You only see them during lessons, and when a lesson is over, they cross the gate of the seminary and disappear into the city, often waking you up when they return in the small hours of the night. The secret society you call these students, who are clearly united by a shared mystery. There are only a handful of them. When they meet, they sit at the same table and speak in hushed whispers, falling silent if anyone tries to approach them. You have not joined any of these groups for yourself. For now, you spend your days and nights in study. Today is yet another ordinary day at the seminary. You sit in the common room reading a book when Jean approaches you. Why are you always alone with your books? You should learn from your elders and attend sermons if you hope to walk the path of a priest. We can go to the next sermon together if you wish. You promise to consider her offer. As priests, you will be bound by the lot to the will of the twins, not the will of your instructors. Still, the will of the twins is a mystery, and the revelations are ever involute. Involute? Come to think of it, learning from senior priests and studying their habits might be the best way to understand your lot. Lost in thought, you look at the enigmatic handful of students sitting in the faraway corner of the hall. What mystery are they hiding? What path have they chosen to walk? No! You need to decide what to do next. One way or another, Jean is right. Your books will never do your preaching for you. We can join the preachers, we can search for the divine within ourselves, or we can infiltrate the secret society. So we cannot unlock infiltrate the secret society, and that is locked because our willpower is low. We're too tired. Ugh. Holy Order is not in the game. It was thought about, though, along with many other core routes, such as Legionary. I was curious, William, do you know if there are mods for this? Have people tried to write branching or fan fiction or anything like that? Vision by the gods, maybe the answers are inside you all along. Go divine. Elish has never once been not tired. Yeah, fair. No. Do you guys think? The thing is, is that we are lost. We are lost in the weeds right now, right? Like we are very much not with Elish, because my Elish, right, would join the preachers because that's you know, again, that's the old faith, and also shows the preachers that we are of the old faith, right? That we're listening to them. Search for the divine within yourself has a smattering of new faith about it, right? I get what you guys are saying with regards to we've had visions, but the problem is that the old faith is like, you need to be taught, and the new faith is that everyone can find their own way. So that's my worry, right? I would personally do join the preachers, I think. I know we got good magic juice inside of us, but you were once a part of a modding team? Hell yeah. Any good ones out there? I know some people were asking about a couple of like perspective changes and things like that. The bell summons everyone to the evening sermon. You step inside the temple and walk towards the great hall, where you spot Jean among the crowds of students. The group of students nod to you. Jean smiles brightly when she sees you. Together with the others, you hang on the preacher's every word, repeat the scriptural passages he cites, and pray with the other students. After dinner, your group assembles in the seminary yard. Jean looks at you inquisitively. Inquisitively, you say? We're all testing ourselves, seeing if we can preach on our own. You'll never succeed if you never try. How about you try preaching to us? Let's see how you preach a sermon of blessings. You spend several minutes mentally preparing, then begin to speak. You aren't especially nervous, but maintaining a proper cadence and intonation turns out to be quite difficult. Every word you say must serve to guide others to live by their lot. This turns out to be harder than it seems. You describe your first encounter with the silver tree, how its majesty, oh my god, it's Elden Ring. The silver tree is bad. The Erd tree, it's bad. That's the reason why the land is suffering in Magra. Okay, whatever. You describe your first encounter with the silver tree, how its majesty left an impression on you, how you later read about the same impression from many books written by others, how you realized the greatness of this gift from the twins to the people. Your congregation reacts with quiet approval. Your first sermon seems to have gone rather well. As the days go by, preaching to the crowd gets easier. You see the sermons at the temple in a different light now, taking note of the figures of speech, the changes in tone, the reactions from the congregation, writing down the priest's most crucial expressions. These realizations combine with everything else you have learned at the seminary, and together they coalesce into speeches and sermons that can inspire and motivate. In addition, as you learn to cite the sacred scriptures by heart, you see your memory improve and your thinking become more regimented. Your words, thoughts, and actions become more pure, more sincere. No, wait, I don't want to be more pure. I don't want to be more sincere. At the same time, a strange feeling grows in you. Every day is a walk along the same path, a repetition of the same words. Each new sermon that you give seems to bind you more and more. It feels like you are always being watched now, watched closely by an intense, implacable gaze. +1 to our relations with Jean. Theology goes up. Okay. So at least we didn't lose any manipulation. Oh, the Overseer of Magra, that's ours. Two major events take place while you are busy living your life. First, no, juicy. Okay. Two major events take place while you are busy living your life. First, Cornelius Tempest is no longer the great chancellor of the Empire. He has been ousted and sent back to his province. His replacement is the Archduke of Monia, Agarius Monrogue, this same Monrogue who shot to shut down the college. The most powerful lord in the realm finally convinced the Emperor that his brother Cornelius was giving too much freedom to the lowborn. Now the policies of the Empire will be reversed. Many fear that the new Great Chancellor will destroy the Imperial Code of Laws and other achievements of Cornelius. There are cautious rumors among the people. They say the new Great Chancellor is going to revoke the right of the common lot to be ennobled by the mantle. Secondly, Magra, your homeland, now has a new overseer, Gaius Tempest, the other brother of Emperor Uther II. Usually, the overseer of a province is its archduke. After all, it makes sense for the province's most powerful noble to impart the emperor's will to the locals. Yet now, this age-old tradition has been broken, and to no one's surprise, Archduke Tarquinius Milanides is absolutely furious. Gaius Tempest used to be the main supporter of his brother, former Great Chancellor Cornelius Tempest. The nobles at the Emperor's court say this is a stratagem by the Archnean gentry, who want Gaius removed from court affairs along with Cornelius. Either way, Gaius Tempest and Tarquinius Milanides will be at each other's throats over the province. This does not bode well for their future. Only one thing is clear. Magra, your home province, is about to face great changes. Okay, so power has gone up, which means more power for the common person, but there is peace now. Spring is in full bloom. The city of Eterna is a sea of flowering trees. The apple trees are particularly prevalent. You see them growing everywhere in the seminary yard alone. How nice it would be to sit here with a good book, enjoying the apple blossoms and getting lost in important thoughts. But there is no time for that. A recent incident has the entire seminary on edge. One of the senior seminary students has been accused of having a relationship with a witch. The Inquisition has been watching the girl for a long time. When the lovers met and the girl put a floral wreath on the student's head, the Inquisition spies saw it all. The lovers were immediately arrested. You hear about it from Jean. She looks very anxious when she comes to you to discuss the news. Are you going to watch the trial? They're only allowing priests and seminary students to attend it. We have to be there. It's an important case. We could learn so much from seeing the Holy Tribunal in action. You agree to go with her. After all, the case is highly unusual indeed. Junius Diamant, one of the leaders of the New Faith, has stepped forward to defend the student and the girl. You have already met the other leader of the New Faith, Luke, Patriarch of Archnia. But Patriarch Junius holds much more authority. The seminary students speak of him in hushed voices and only when the instructors are not around. Junius Diamant is more than a patriarch of one of the provinces. He is an Archnean hailing from one of the great dynasties and the leader of the Holy Order, the Empire's finest knights in service to the twins' churches. The prosecution will be represented by Father Ulrich. He is a powerful inquisitor and the head warden at the House of Humility, the fortress that collars all mages and subdues their will to the service of the Inquisition. You have heard of him. He's a fierce man who is ardent and merciless in service to the twins. The day comes. The spacious courtroom is filled with people. All the seats are taken. The judges sit at a long table upon a platform. There are 10 of them, all high-ranking members of the church. To the right of them is a man in a black cassock. His head is shaved, his back is perfectly straight. This man, Father Ulrich, a true and lawful inquisitor, will represent the prosecution. To the left of the judge's table stands an Archnian. He is wearing a white cassock with a cape of white and gold on his shoulders. The Archnian's blue hands rest on the edge of the table, and his expression is that of perfect calm. This man, Patriarch Junius Diamant, will represent the defense. There is something really intelligent about the design here, about how we just watched Cornelius Tempest and Gaius Tempest get taken out of power, right? Because if we were going with the new faith, Patriarch Junius Diamant would be like a really big deal for us. We'd be like, there ain't no way we're going down. We have the Patriarch Junius on our side. Except, do you? And for how long? William says that they were working with some others who are interested in a lore-friendly mod about the northern provinces and the city of Pregos. They set up a team, and then, oh no. Oh, that's really cool, William. Hell yeah. I'm really glad to hear that. Yeah, I love the writing of The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante. So much so that I haven't necessarily taken to doing any writing of myself recently, but it's very good. 10 out of 10. To the left of him sits the accused, a young man in a seminary uniform, and a young girl who looks like she just came back from the foot of the pillar. They are both bound in chains. Even from your distant seat, you can see that the Inquisitors have shown her no mercy. The girl's face and neck are covered in bruises. There are bloody wounds on her left hand where her fingernails should be, and her right hand bears a horrible black burn. Loud voices emanate from the stalls even before the trial begins. Some chide Patriarch Junius, while others call out Father Ulrich. There are more and more of these shouts with every passing minute, and soon a judge's gavel can do very little to rein them in. The trial begins. Father Ulrich is the first to speak. Judges of the Holy Tribunal, and you, my brethren, this is an act of sacrilege beyond compare, committed within the walls of our own seminary. This man is a venomous viper nurtured in the church's bosom. He defied all that is forbidden and engaged in an act of hideous lechery, already a malefaction, but worse yet, the object of his lust is an aberrant, sinful witch. The young woman in question looks up. You see the color of her eyes, vibrant, radiant emerald, green like the tender grass of spring. You recall a cautionary tale. Such eyes are the mark of a mage who holds sway over wildlife and nature. Okay, I mean, that sounds wildly apocryphal. They got the green eyes, so they are good with plants. I mean, it would not surprise me if it was true, but how many authorities do we have on magic? This blasphemer deserves nothing less than true death for what he had done. The walls of the church are no place for traitors and licentious filth. We who bring the will of the twins to the world may afford no weakness. As for the witch, put her in a collar and cut off her nose so that her comely appearance may never again lead a righteous man astray. Ulrich, you're definitely a real inquisitor. With that, Father Ulrich takes his seat. The man who rises next is Patriarch Junius. He is as tall as a pillar, and you feel an implacable power emanating from him. He takes his stand from the judges. Even before he speaks, Jean winces in disgust. To her, an ally of the new faith deserves neither tolerance nor sympathy. He's already drenched in sin, and yet he thinks he can talk justice. Junius Diamond begins to speak. May it please the tribunal, the accusation is indeed true. The young man before us is at fault. It was his duty to convince the lady he had befriended to renounce all magic, and yet he encouraged her profane practices. Yet Father Ulrich's proposal is far too severe. I seek no lesser punishment for the witch. This is a matter for the Inquisition. But the young man need not be executed. His life is the subject of my debate. It was not by force that the young man now stands before us. He sought the twins entirely of his own volition, and so I plead with the holy tribunal to spare his life. May he instead take the vows and habit of a monk, and a vow of silence, and be subject to corporeal punishment, for the ways of the church are stern but fair. This young man need not lose his life in order to redeem himself. An accusation flies from the crowd, so Junius favors mages and takes them under his wing in his province. Look at the man who dares doubt our lots and rejects the orthodox faith. We won't let your kind gain ground in Eterna. This, in turn, sparks a different cry. Another voice accuses Ulrich of being drunk with the power he has acquired by enslaving those who wield magic. Okay. You're imagining a magic ID book that just has a bunch of close-ups of eyes with arrows pointing to different pictures of, like, animal, plant, fire. I mean, Enderfriend, you might not be wrong, yeah. Princess Brighter, hell yeah. To the pain, no, Mesphia! Oh no, William, I'm sorry to hear that. That man should be praising Sigmar. Father Ulrich. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, People's DM. Ooh, hell yeah, William. Honestly, there's nothing better than when you take a work that is made out of true passion and affection for something, for it to be sort of scorned like that, and then you turn around and turn that into like another project entirely. Love, love, love to hear it. Patriarch Junius attempts to pacify his followers as accusations from the Inquisitor's side keep coming. Father Ulrich marks each condemnation of Junius and the new faith with an agreeable nod, his mouth a crooked smile. The crowd begins to move. Those who side with the Inquisition start pushing against the guards to exact their own brand of justice. Oh, I don't know about that one, Chief. Junius's followers do not stand still either. They rise and form a circle around the Patriarch, as well as the man and woman on trial. Accusations fly, and the air above the crowd grows hot with boiling rage. People are pushing and shoving. You hear screams of panic among the cries of outrage. You and Jean find a temporary refuge on a podium rising above the human sea. The courtroom is becoming dangerous. You must attempt to escape now or risk being trampled. There is still time for either Patriarch Junius or Father Ulrich to say something, to calm the crowd, remind them why they are here, but they both froze in confusion, unable to rein in the coalescing madness. Perhaps you could make your voice heard from atop the crowd, or would it be more sensible to escape the chaos of this courtroom? So we can defend the seminary student. We're not doing that. He cavorted with the witch, right? Like, we're not defending him. Our own apostasy being quiet. Demand punishment. You yell an accusation and condemn the defendants. If they're forgiven now, this will all happen again. Oh no. Jean, flee the courtroom. You take Jean by the hand and start pushing and shoving through the crowd to escape the courtroom. Punishment? Oh! Oh! Father Ulrich was... Okay, so there's two things that we've been given, right? We've been given that Father Ulrich is noting the people who are shouting condemnations and making mental note of it, right? But I will say, even though this is not my Elish, mob mentality never jives with him, right? Because as far as Elish is concerned, mob mentality is a part of the reason why Ishgard is no longer, sort of what he remembers the good times of Ishgard to be. It's the fact that the mob got unruly, and that's the reason why during the events of Heavensward that there was all this chaos in the street. Hilda's hounds are the acceptable loss that you have to take, but all of the rest of them running around, causing chaos, upturning carts, lighting things on fire, that's what happens when you let the commoners run amok. So demand punishment kind of hits that, like, Elish not liking mob rule as well. Like, it's hard because, like, both of them, no matter what happens here, the witch is already being condemned, right? Patriarch Junius is not trying to defend the witch. And as far as Elish is concerned, then, the right person is being punished. So maybe flee the courtroom, yeah. Woof, William. I'm sorry to hear that, yeah. Okay. Flee the courtroom it is. I'm sorry, Mesphia. I promise I'm not purposefully trying to disregard what you're saying. Smile. We're so tired, Mesphia. We're at -5 willpower. You think we've got willpower to go beat a monk to death? We have been worse. We have been at -10. Flee the courtroom. Excuse me. We are very sleepy. Yeah. You take Jean by the hand and leave the courtroom before the conflict reaches its culmination. You push and shove through screaming inquisitors, frenzied seminary students, and red-faced followers of the new faith. As you leave, the hall behind you erupts into screams of rage and pain and fighting. You ask Jean if she wants to stay here and see the end of the trial. No, I've seen enough. This is too much like what happened to Alis. I don't want to see what happens next. Let's get out of here at once. I thought we got Alis out. I thought Alis got out. You make your way back to the seminary courtyard, where the apple trees are in bloom. There are so many white flowers you can barely see the leaves behind them. After the din of the courtyard, the quiet here is deafening. So quiet you can almost hear your own heartbeat. Jean looks up with a quiet sigh and touches the white petals. It feels so strange. It's like we're back in Anazote, beneath the branches of the silver tree. I wish I could feel that calm again. Don't you agree? Jean? Jean, watch yourself, Jean. Carefully, Jean's hand touches yours and squeezes your fingers gingerly. Then suddenly, he embraces you. You gasp with surprise. And place your hands on her waist. Is this a chaste hug? Or perhaps... Her breath feels hot on your neck. Her eyelashes flutter against your skin as her arms glide up and down your back. You are not yet priests. You are not yet one with the clergy. You are not yet bound by the new lot. And for now, anything is impossible. Anything is possible. Okay, sorry. So the is she a girl is referring to in chapter 2. We had Matters of the Heart, which was meet a girl condition, which was very funny to us. And so confirmation, Jean is girl. She smells so good. A lock of hair tumbles out from under her headcloth. You gently touch this lock with your lips. I like, all control has been taken away from me. We're just doing this, I guess. Hours, minutes, maybe seconds pass like this. Then, suddenly, Jean moves away and looks at you defiantly, biting her lower lip. Fun fact, one of Elish's go-to maneuvers in any situation is biting his lower lip. You smile in return. She will embrace you once more, will she not? She steps back. You part ways. Jean heads for the prayer room. You walk back to your monastic cell. Still, you look back once more before you leave. Jean is there, watching you go. When she catches your eye, she looks away and leaves. Okay. Heretical hand-holding. Or perhaps, yeah, Trollop. This Trollop is seducing us, yeah. What a snake. Seductress. Damn. Guess they have opinions on your game. Yeah, I guess so, Pixie. All right, well, with that being said, we will, unfortunately... Damn! Damn, we got a lot of willpower. We're ready for action, apparently. Yeah, what kind of action, Elish? We're gonna go on a very quick break. You know the score. Anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. We try to keep it on the 3-minute side, but when we return, it's more of the life and suffering of Sir Brante. See you soon. And William, thank you so much for popping in and hanging out. I appreciate that. I'm just now realizing that I might not have had Twitch alerts set up correctly. So I sure hope that I did not miss any developments, because that would be a little embarrassing on my behalf. But I hope you're having a good time, and I hope your project goes well. Oh, Shiodere and Elila Zosha, thank you so much for the follows. I appreciate that. And yeah, we're gonna try to avoid some of the less excellent potential aspects. But yeah, okay. We just got plus 10 willpower from Boner, so we're ready for action. You wanted to speak to Jean again, but she disappeared the next day. Some say she was sent somewhere else to study. Strange. Why did she tell you nothing? Why did she not say goodbye? You keep waiting for news from her at first, but as the days go by, your thoughts turn to the upcoming exams and the second sacrament. All the sacred scriptures, holy procedures, and sacred hymns have been memorized long ago. You know the names of every disciple of the elder and the younger, all the patriarchs of the provinces, from the very first to the present day. And most importantly, your faith is strong and your confidence is unshakable. The exams are behind you now. On the day of your second sacrament, you come to the great temple of the twins, already dressed in a priest's cassock. Father Jeremiah holds your belt in one hand. He will conduct your sacrament. Our belt? His other hand holds the sacred book. You are to kiss it to show your complete submission to the will of the twins. You approach the altar on the commoner's side. The jagged floor hurts as it bites into your bare feet, but there is a hint of pleasure in that pain. Not my Elish! You kneel before Father Jeremiah on the lowest of the steps leading to the altar. He speaks the words of your new lot above you. Thou shalt now carry the will of the twins to the world. Whosoever cometh to thee, thou shalt give guidance. The twins are love and will and law. Thou shalt bring it to the world. Thy new lot is to interpret the lots and give counsel in faith. Arise, priest. You kiss the book and stand up, confidence blooming within you. You now know the answers to all questions. You are now a messenger of the true word, the one who carries true understanding. You have the power to guide people toward a righteous path, to help them see the truth, to help them find answers. For the twins, will it so? One second, sorry. Okay. Just needed to check something super fast. Sorry about that, lads. New strength fills you. By the grace of the elder, you may pray to him to heal and cure those who suffer. By the law of the younger, you may pray to him to bind your foes with his wondrous power. When no one is looking, you reach for your back. The mark of the lash is gone. You feel as though you can breathe more easily now. On the morning after, you are to conduct a sacrament for the first time. You walk into a small temple on the outskirts of Eterna. Acolytes are running to and fro, preparing for the ritual while you repeat the words of the lots that you must tell the children. Slowly, the temple fills with people. You stand at the altar now, the sword in one hand and the lash on the other. 3 boys are to receive their sacrament today. A little nobleman and 2 lowborn boys of the same age. Literally, Stefan, us, and Nathan. The noble boy's parents are nervous and ask you to hurry with the sacrament. And so, you begin. With confidence and proper pace, you recite the words of a noble's lot to the little boy kneeling before you. Then you carefully bring the flat of the sword to his lips. The boy kisses it, and you thank the twins under your breath. Now it is time for the common children to receive their sacrament. You notice movement in the temple out of the corner of your eye. Someone is standing in the doorway. It is a silhouette of a woman. You recognize her. She looks sterner now, harsher, but the most striking feature about her now is her eyes. They are cold, yet curious. Something glints on Jean's belt now. It is the silver seal of the Inquisition! Jean got into the Inquisition before us? Girl, what? Fine. Do continue, priest. The boys stand before you, just like you and Nathan when you were boys. You were just like them at your first sacrament. The elder of the 2 kneels on the jagged floor. He winces slightly, but holds back the tears. You recite his new lot for him and strike him twice with the lash. He shudders, yet humbly accepts the first suffering of his life. They bring the other boy to you next. He is kicking and squirming, and his face is red with tears. They force him to kneel, and he falls on all fours. The floor draws blood from his hands. Adult hands hold him still. Adult voices chide him angrily. You say the words of his new lot and strike him once with the lash. The lash cuts right through the boy's shirt and soaks it with blood. The boy's cries turn to screams. You raise your head slightly and notice Jean's watchful eye. She is there, waiting. You look back down at the boy. He looks so much like Nathan, just as frightened, just as distraught, just as defenseless. You hesitate, unsure of what to do. The ritual must be finished. By your lot, you must bring forth the will of the twins and perform the sacrament of suffering. But this little boy huddling at your feet is so young. He will no doubt see so much suffering in his life. Perhaps you should show him that the world can be merciful too. Have mercy on the child. You tell the child to rise. The sacrament is done after he was held down by multiple adults and we whipped him once. It's okay, little kid. You've only been whipped once, not twice. Come on! You whip the boy a second time with all your might, just as the sacrament demands. Belt the shit out of this kid. Listen, I'm just saying, when we were a child, we tried to kiss the sword and got absolutely whipped within an inch of our life. So, you know, obviously, if violence is perpetuated in cycles, that makes it okay. Listeners, that is not what we are saying. We are, in fact, not saying that. This is a comedic bit for the world of the life and suffering of Sir Brante. You cast away all doubt. You muster all your will. Fuck, is this gonna cost willpower? Did Jean give us a little smooch to be like, here's some willpower to beat a child with? You cast away all doubt. You muster all your will, and the lash cuts through the air as it strikes the boy's back again. His skin parts, his blood drips onto the floor. The boy gasps for air, doubled over in pain. then sags on the acolyte's arms. With a stern voice, you tell him to rise and live by the lot he has been given. The boy barely gets back to his feet, then walks back to his mother, panting. You hand the sword and lash to an acolyte, then turn to face the altar and say a quick prayer to the twins for this day. No! This is bad, obviously. Obviously, lads, we do not approve of, this. But, again, sensitive content warning, etc., etc., etc. You hear quiet footsteps behind you. I'm glad to see that you didn't hesitate. You must never show mercy if you are to carry out the will of the twins. You help that boy understand the full burden of his lot. That is a blessing that will guide him towards the peak of the pillar. Jean puts a hand on your shoulder, yet she hastily removes it as both of you hear a powerful voice that would make anyone shudder. You sure have a steady hand, Brother Elish. Brother Elish feels bad. You hastily turn around and see Inquisitor Ulrich appear from the shadows. Has he been watching you perform the sacrament this whole time? Father Ulrich, you were correct after all. Brother Elish is ready to become one of us. Woof! That is for me to decide. Jean frowns but falls silent, pursing her lips. Ulrich turns his heavy gaze to you. For 2 years I have been watching you, Elish. Now the time has come for you to join our ranks. Ulrich hands you a scroll marked with the silver seal of the Inquisition! And then everyone's lives got a lot happier. Brother Elish, the church is appointing you an inquisitor. You are to return to your native land and protect our true faith against heresy. Jean pierces you with an intent stare. You bow your head and accept the scroll from Ulrich's hands. Then you solemnly fasten the Inquisitor's insignia to your belt. By the will of the Church and the gods themselves, you are now a servant of the Holy Order of the Inquisition. Gloria is, in fact, going to be quite displeased with us, Enderfriend. Henceforth your life belongs to the Order. You shall fight against any apostasy that threatens the Church and her flock. Cast aside your doubts, Inquisitor Brante, and be ready to fulfill your new righteous duty. Which does beg the question, because it says the life and suffering of Sir Brante, but we're not a Sir, right? Prepare yourself to set out for Anazote. A special assignment awaits you there. Sister Jean will accompany you as a fellow Inquisitor. She will tell you everything else you need to know. It is wild that Jean ascended up the ranks of the Inquisition much faster than us, but fine. With that, Ulrich abruptly turns away and leaves the church. Your answer is not required. The will of the church is the law, and you must abide by it. You are left alone with Jean. Your sister in faith betrays no emotions. Her words sound sharp and dry. The time has come to bid the capital farewell, Brother Elish. We are leaving for Anazote tomorrow. With that, Jean leaves you alone in the temple. You turn back to the altar and finish your prayer. No! Okay, we're at 0 willpower. It's fine. We're still ready for action, but not by much. We're now a priest. Listen, I'm not going to say that if there was a superpower out there that was shackling magic people against their will and forcing them into servitude, that I would rather be on that guy's good side. But also, winter, 1137. Diamant stands trial. Oh no! Just before you leave the capital, you overhear something unusual on the street. Junius Diamant, Patriarch of Astynia and one of the leaders of the New Faith, will stand trial before a church tribunal. The Order of the Inquisition has accused Patriarch Junius of patronizing blasphemous witches and disseminating heresy. The Holy Tribunal claims that Junius Diamant was scheming to free all witches and sorcerers from the collars that fetter their accursed powers. And what's worse, the Patriarch was also accused of forming the Lawless, a dangerous secret society based in the imperial capital. Members of the society have been assaulting inquisitors and priests of the church, as well as freeing witches from the cleansing fire and helping them escape the holy law. Now the Patriarch must face the Holy Tribunal of the Inquisition in Eterna. By all accounts, this is a devastating blow to the New Faith and the end of days for Junius Diamant himself. The Inquisition will make the most of this opportunity to rid the land of this unwelcome Patriarch who dared to shake the foundation of the old faith. But then comes the sudden news of Patriarch Junius's reply to the Holy Tribunal. It is no less stunning than the accusation. These words are nothing but lies. I will say this to anyone who dares to bring this accusation against me in person. But I want those hypocrites to bear the full weight of their responsibility for this slander against me, my flock, the Diamond Dynasty, and the Holy Order. I agree to stand trial before the Holy Tribunal, but I will face them on my own land and on my terms. The idea of, because he is the head of the Holy Order, right? The idea of Patriarch Junius saying, okay, but you come to my castle and you come to me in front of all of my knights to try and put me on trial, genuinely hilarious. Like, that's a power play, make no doubt about it. Patriarch Junius has already received strong support from Patriarch Luke and many priests across Archnia. Parishes of the New Faith throughout the Empire are now speaking out in support of Junius Diamant. The Church of the Twin Gods is about to be rent in twain. The Inquisition has no choice but to revoke the trial in order to avert the coming schism. Their new official stance is that Patriarch Junius has been wrongly accused, and the Holy Tribunal will now apply more cautious judgment during any further trials against followers of the New Faith. Following the teachings of Patriarch Fortis is no longer seen as heresy by the Inquisition. Ulrich, you coward! Ulrich, you absolute, listen, knees knocking together, ooh, but I don't want to go up against the Holy Order. Mate, then we should be swearing ourselves to Patriarch Junius already. The trial of Junius Diamant has been averted, but the divide within the church is only deepening. The New Faith has directly challenged the Old Faith. The result is uncertain depending on who you ask. Some say Junius Diamant all but pled guilty. Others believe the Patriarch and alleged rebellion against the church, as well as the Inquisition, is nothing but a ruse. There are also people who think the entire situation sounds like one of the secret chancellery's dirty deeds. One way or another, the Patriarch of Astynia and co-leader of the New Faith remains at his post. But for how long? And how will the Old Faith and New Faith clash next? No, schism! A farewell to the capital. The Reglata and Taurina rivers meet outside the city walls. You have barely left the capital since you came here all those years ago. A breeze is blowing in your face, and the bright noon sun hangs above the shining pillar. Your stay in Eterna has come to an end. You arrived here a boy, full of hopes and aspirations, driven by your family's expectations, and a desire to live your life as you saw fit. And now you have to leave, and this thought fills you with a gentle sadness. Eterna did not become your home, and yet here you realize that you can be a messenger between the will of the twins and the people. You are the hand that shows the way, the interpreter of the gods, the man who guides others to the peak when they depart for the hereafter. You have never felt so close to the twins. But now you carry within you the love and wisdom of the elder and the law and power of the younger. After your second sacrament, you start seeing the twins' presence in this world everywhere. What will you see back in your hometown or by the silver tree? You have been chosen to serve the Inquisition. You are more than a mere priest. You are a shield of the church that wards away its enemies and false doctrines. A pain in your chest, right under the twins' thought, echoes this thought. The schism between the church and the new faith began in Anazote, but the city is still your home. Changes are coming, and as an inquisitor, you will have to face them. You think of Sister Jean often. She was your only companion during the years of years of study at the seminary, and now she will teach and assist you in your service to the Inquisition. What is the connection between you? Who will you become for one another? You exhale and close your eyes, feeling the riverside wind blowing into your face. Many things must have changed back home by now. Does Mother still pray to the twins 3 times a day? What about the others? They used to repeat the sacred words after her back then. What about now, after her back then? Nathan probably follows Mother's example. Every letter he has sent you has been filled with elation over your choice of the priest's lot. Nathan failed to enter the seminary of Anazote. He said he got too nervous, and he wrote that he was ashamed of not being able to follow in your footsteps. But being ashamed of failure is against the commoner's lot, you wrote back. A commoner must humbly accept failure, just as he would accept any other kind of suffering. You should cheer Nathan up by bringing him a souvenir from the capital that will remind him of you, a token of love that says you believe in him. After giving it some thought, you head to the temple for a prayer book. You find the great temple of the twins surrounded by the usual calm and quiet. There are no loud voices coming from the people, no loud cries from the merchants. You approach a small bookstore by the temple grounds and examine the prayer books one by one. You search for one with the proper prayers for everything Nathan needs, for the good of the family, for humility, for meekness, and for following one's lot. A small book finds its way to you. The sturdy leather cover feels good in the palm of your hand. You thumb through the prayer book and nod. Everything you were looking for is here. You leave the capital the morning after in a carriage hired by the Inquisition. Eterna, the city where you spent 4 years, slowly disappears on the horizon. Will you ever see the capital again? You do not know. The prayer book is in your hands. Nathan Brante, +1 relationship. Wow! And it's good to see you, Rain. Hey, hey, hey. Orthodox, Ishgardian Orthodox intensifies. So, we've been playing The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante. It has been very grimdark, very sensitive content warning. If you're not in a super great place, I would recommend maybe not checking out this one. One of the things that I have compared this to is in Darkest Dungeon, there's a mechanic where your characters can die from a heart attack due to terror. I constantly feel that coming on from The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante. But it's very Ishgard coded in a lot of places. I disagree. I've been trying to role play Elish more or less, and we've definitely been doing it. We've definitely been explaining our thought processes as we go through. But yeah, there are bits and pieces of this that are accurate. It's important to note that the Inquisition in Ishgard is not actually a member of the clergy or faith. The Supreme Tribunal of Hellenic Inquisitory Doctrine is in fact separate from the church and represents investigators, lawyers, things like that. But you get it. Is it Berserk levels of dark? Interesting. I would say it approaches it, and in different ways, Rain. There are a lot of similarities, but it's not quite that intense. But yeah, let's keep rocking and rolling. Homecoming. After 4 years in the capital, you return to your home city of Anizote. Coming of age. End of youth. The years of your youth have come to an end. The time has come to leave the capital behind and return to your family and new business in your hometown of Anizote. The years away from home were filled with tumult and hardship. Your adult shoulders now bear the burden of your first life-changing decisions. Did you have the freedom to choose this lot for yourself, or was it your destiny all along, ever since your childhood years? All you can do now is follow the path that lies before you. Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Our diplomacy is promising, so it's not the best. Our theology is theologist. Cool. Our manipulation is canny, not as much manipulation as I want for Elish. Our valor is 11. We are a mediocre fighter. That's actually pretty accurate. Eloquence, clear speech, not quite silver tongue yet, slightly disappointing. Scheming is inexperienced. No! All right. Well, it be what it be sometimes. And now we're into peacetime. I sure am glad that the times are peaceful and good forever. There is nothing coming around the corner like the other shoe.
A full adult now, I returned from the capital a changed man. Yet, my hometown was not the same as I had left it. Fate had difficult times in store for all of us.
Sure is good that we can't see the future of the timeline, it's true. Everyone lived happily ever after, exactly. Homecoming. You and Jean are returning to Anizote together. You listen to the spinning wheels of the carriage as it makes its way along the road. You see the land of Magra through the window, empty, desiccated by ancient magic. I'm so worried it's the tree. I'm so worried that they're pulling an Elden Ring and that the Erd tree, the silver tree of Anizote. You are home, but you are no longer the boy who took this road to the capital 4 years ago. You are coming back a priest. Could your family ever have imagined that this would be the lot with which you would return? You will begin your service with the Inquisition in your home province. You will be reunited with your family soon. Okay. Outcomes of this chapter. Shadow of the Will. Cassius faces the tribunal. Cassius overthrown. All-powerful Ulrich. Cool. This bears well for us. Torch of the New Faith. Absolutely not going to be me. True death. We can die for realsies. How many deaths do we have? We've got 1. Oh, actually, we can check under personality. Okay. If we die only once, we can be Big Inquisitor boy. So yeah. Yeah, only once. All right, we'll see them. The most important event that will happen this chapter, only one of them will happen. Oh, interesting. Only one of these will happen. Fascinating. All right, we'll see what it goes. The most important events that may happen to the House of Brante at the end of this chapter. Oh no! We're not causing it to be ennobled by the sword, right? We cannot do this. This is not us. Favored by the Overseer. I don't know that we can do anything to affect that. Heir of the family. You succeed your elder brother Stefan as the heir of the family. Ain't no way, lads. That one's not happening. The family falls apart. Very possible. Very doable. A family of means, we're wealthy. Mother recovers. Oh, she's sick. Gloria Brante. Oh. Branded by dishonor. Brr. Family at peace. Oh. Thomas's new life. Tomas. The family in ruins. The financial well-being of the Brante family is decimated. A glorious bloodline. Okay. Deeds that you can accomplish on your chosen life path. Interesting. Okay. Occupation screen now available? That's bad. I need to inform you guys about the differences between me and Elish again. Just as like a real quick overture, just as like a, hey lads, it's me, your friend and mine, Elish. No, not Elish. Demised. Not Elish. Different people. Real quick reminder, not a fan of occupations. Does this mean we now get dollars if we have an occupation screen? Yes, exactly. It means that we're getting an occupation as in a job. Spiritual guidance. The air in the carriage is stuffy despite the blinds that shut out the sun. It will take time to get used to the heat again. The scorching days are followed by freezing nights. Such is the desert in wintertime. Jean has changed drastically during her months away. You struggle to begin a conversation with her. In the end, she is the first to speak. It's time I told you of our mission in Anazote, Brother Elish. Then why has the Inquisition decided to assign it to 2 recent seminary graduates? The Inquisition considers me sufficiently prepared for this mission, and I vouched for you. The mission that awaits us will take a long time to complete. I need somebody reliable at my side. Girl, do you know the definition of the word expendable? You are not sufficiently prepared for this mission. You are expendable. The Inquisition can say, oh, weird, those 2 graduates from seminary just really went off the deep end. Well, we disavow anything that they did and never knew any of it. Jean? Girl? Magra has grown restless of late. The teachings of Photis have taken root here. The local priests reject their duty. They tell their congregations to seek their lots within themselves. They claim the teachings of Saint Asatius are lies. Don't they see they're marching straight to the foot of the pillar and dragging their flock along with them? But that's not all. The church received an anonymous letter denouncing Cassius, the Patriarch of Magra, for enabling all manners of sects and heresies in the province and blaspheming against the gods. This report must be investigated, and, should we find proof of his guilt, we are to remove Cassius from his post and defrock him. Needless to say, this will not be easy. Right now, the Magran Inquisition is weak, respected neither by the nobles nor the clergy. Until they recognize our authority, they will be unlikely to obey us. What's new in Elish's life? Cassius has been patriarch since Photis' demise 5 years ago. He was elected unanimously at the sacred conclave of Magra. He is beloved by his flock and respected by the clergy. We have therefore been strongly advised to investigate this matter in secret. We must restore the authority of the Inquisition. Then, if Cassius is indeed guilty, we must find proof. Then, and only then, may we accuse him openly. The tribunal hearing against Patriarch Junius Diamant was a disgrace. What happened there must not be repeated in Magra. There is actually something beautiful here, though, with regards to Elish joining the Inquisition to take down, like, the higher nobles of Ishgard, right? In the same way that, you know, Elish Brante would have joined the Inquisition, in part out of the hopes that the Inquisition would be able to take out the Archnians, right? And Junius is a manifestation in much the same way that Elish's inability to go against the high houses or the greater houses is his inability to do anything there, right? Like, there are well, spoilers. The church has entrusted Inquisitor Ulrich with this case. We are expected to assist in his investigation however we can and help protect Anazote against heresy. But I think we should be wary of him. Father Ulrich is a ruthless man and a zealous inquisitor, overzealous at times. They say he has burned entire villages to the ground for the sake of the true faith. We will do our utmost to restore the authority of the Inquisition, but I fear Father Ulrich may be inclined to abuse this authority. Please, for our sake, be discreet around him. Either way, our mission will not be simple, but we will restore order in Magra. Let us eradicate every seed of heresy here and uproot the weeds of this new faith. The city that houses the Silver Tree must remain a symbol of the true faith. Can I count on your support, Elish? Support Jean. She has your full support. Disagree with Jean. No, the new faith is no heresy. I've decided to have a change of heart. We can't have a change of heart. Evade the question. You were not ready to give Jean a definitive answer yet. Sure, let's support her. Thank you, Rain. I need to hydrate. My throat is parched. You assure Jean that she has your full support. You are entirely on her side. Heresy will be dealt with. The Inquisition will grow strong. The truth about Patriarch Cassius will be revealed. I'm glad to hear that, Elish. The city walls of Anazote finally appear on the horizon. Your service to the Inquisition promises to be difficult, but right now, you are going home. Listen, I'm just saying, we got a real witch who hates our fucking guts. Having an Inquisitor homie to back us up, kinda necessary. In the service of the Inquisition, year 1138, you started your work as an Inquisitor of Magra. The carriage stops. The familiar gate, your bedroom window, the same one you used to climb out of at night from time to time. The well-tended garden with its imported soil, delightful greenery, and Mother's beloved violet irises. The porch you used to jump off of when you were little. You are home. You touch the handle of the front door and halt for a moment. It has been 4 years since you left for Eterna, but it feels like yesterday. The air inside is cool, as usual. Father cannot stand a stuffy room and insists on constantly airing out the house. Nathan's shaggy head peeks out from behind the sitting room door. This man is a heretic. Look at our brother. This man is a member of the new faith if I've ever seen one. Your younger brother is the first to reach out, crying out with joy. He embraces you tightly. Nathan is now as tall as you are, and his hair almost reaches his shoulders. But he still has the same lost look in his eye he had when he was a boy. You're finally back, Elish. Home just hasn't been the same without you. And look, you're wearing a cassock, a true priest. I'll never be one, unfortunately. I didn't get into the seminary. He stares at the ground guiltily. You show him the prayer book you bought for him by the great temple of the twins back in the capital. May the light of the faith shine in your eyes forevermore, brother. Nathan clutches at the little prayer book and nods with gratitude. Mother walks out of the sitting room. Nathan runs to her, and she leans on his arm as he leads her to you. Mother's back is bent. She has grown pale, and a thick web of wrinkles covers her face. She can barely stand unassisted. These are the troubling, telltale signs of the illness your brother and sister mentioned in their letters from home. Supposedly, we're able to invoke our faith in the 12 to heal. Is that just nonsense? Like, just the words of faith? Or do we literally have, like, cast cure too? I do also want to say, this is weirdly accurate to a lot of medieval European situations, right? Where you have your heir and the spare, but oftentimes you send the other son off to be a steward or to be a member of the faith and things like that. So this is actually not inaccurate, historically speaking. Although historically speaking, there's not a giant laser beam from the heavens, and there is also not a giant silver tree sucking the life out of all things nearby, so, you know. Slowly, she embraces you. You press your face into her shoulder, breathing into the nearly forgotten, dearly beloved smell. Mother holds your shoulders and studies you for a long time. You've been away so long, my son, but it was all for a good reason. I am so very proud you chose to follow the priestly lot. Never in my wildest dreams did I think my own son would bring the twins' teachings to the world and save other men's souls. I think I held you in these arms not so long ago. Mother's arms are thinner now. They feel nearly weightless. Gloria walks up to you next. She's dressed in men's clothing, including culottes, a frock coat, and a necktie with a massive pin. She's almost unrecognizable in her new attire. There are dark circles under her eyes, as though from lack of sleep or frequent tears. Her first words to you are dripping with sarcasm. Well, hello there, my brother the priest. Can't say I expected that. You'll be the one watching over our souls now, I suppose. You offer a composed response. You will always be ready to help Gloria if she finds herself in need of spiritual guidance. But you're not just a priest. You're also her brother. She breaks into an involuntary smile. She finally lets her feelings show and embraces you. The sickness known as being very old, very fair. Isn't there a first son is the heir, second son is the priest, and third is the soldier or something? I cannot remember the actual thing. I know one of the easy shorthands is the heir and the spare, right? But I don't remember exactly what it is. Yeah, Rain. Loud footsteps echo down the stairs. Stefan appears. Your older brother has grown taller and more broad-shouldered. You notice how harsh his features have become. He looks even more like grandfather now. He greets you politely with a solemn nod. Greetings, brother. It's a shame you returned with a cassock rather than a sword, but at least you weren't left a commoner like our youngest brother. You may not have earned a noble lot, but your cause is important to the Empire. The Brante family welcomes you. As he says these words, you hear the door to Father's office open. Father looks older. His back is hunched and he squints. There are deep lines around his mouth and silver threads in his dark hair and mustache. He stops a few steps away and examines you from head to toe. You meet his gaze. When I sent you off to the capital, I didn't expect you to return like this. But you have chosen your own path. I am saddened that you won't follow in my footsteps, but such is the will of the twins. I accept your decision. Very different to how my family responded when I came back from college. With a bit of hesitation, Father comes closer and pats you on the back. Well then, time for dinner. Your mother has prepared a veritable feast for you. For the first time in years, the entire family is together. You can finally spend some time with another member of your family today. Lads, here's the problem. Robert +3, Lydia +5. Gregor's dead, we don't give a fuck about him. Stefan +2, Nathan +2, Gloria does not like us. We've got to spend the time chatting with Gloria, surely, right? Right? Or is it if we go to middle of the road, we're ruined? You hope the feast doesn't have broccoli in it? I've got bad news, Soju. It's broccoli with rodent mix-ins. Do we think there's a world where we get the family to be happy with each other? I don't know. I don't know. Like, is this a situation where we need to cut and run? Because Gloria is, she's lowborn, so she's never going to be accepting of the lots. Since your departure, she has gotten involved in social struggle in Anazote. Do we think we can save her? It's possible this is a long chapter. Nah. Broccoli, lard, and fish, describing my actual IRL dinner. Okay. Let's ask Gloria about her life. Let's see what we can do. No. At the table, you try to ask Gloria about her life, but your sister evades your questions. I live, I suffer, I help around the house. I know my place, just like a low-born girl is supposed to. Then be silent, Gloria. Your brother's lot is to offer guidance to the lowborn, not endure their pleas. Why don't you tell us if you've made any useful acquaintances, Elish? No. You have to relate the 4 years you spent in Eterna. Only later that night, when the family is getting ready for bed, do you manage to have a conversation with your sister by the smoldering fireplace. You assure Gloria that your cassock and priestly status will never come between you. She is still your sister. Gloria casts a weary glance at you, then finally gives free rein to her feelings. As you embrace, she buries her face in your shoulder. You stroke her tangled curls. Man, when we have to kill our sister at the stake for being a witch, this hug is gonna keep us warm. I really hope you'll always be my brother, Elish. Mother, Nathan, and I, we all seem to be unwanted in this house. Sir Robert spends all his time at work, so Stefan has been running the household. It's taken a heavy toll on Mother. I can see her losing her will to live. You know, at her age, she might pass away forever and not be reborn. She had to endure a lot before she met Sir Robert, and her illness is consuming her. All Stefan cares about is getting the family ennobled by the sword. He'd sacrifice anyone for it. I'm worried the first thing he's going to do is drive me out of the house so I won't taint the Brante family name with my origins. I'm just an obstacle to him, a hindrance. You know, Elish, I'm not sure how much longer I can tolerate this injustice. Times are changing. If I'm lowborn, that doesn't mean I'm going to serve the nobles until my true death. All over the Empire, commoners are fighting for their rights. Gloria, girl, you need to chill with that. Gloria suddenly cuts herself short. For a long time, you sit in silence, listening to the crackling fireplace. The Brante family is about to face some challenging times. Stefan has gone down to indifference. Gloria has gone up to indifference. It's bad. The Sacred Conclave. I think this is going to be our last chapter, lads. Spring has come. The nightly chill of the desert loses its bite. The daily heat dissipates in gentle rains. At the local Inquisition ward, you are greeted only by dust, dirt, and silence. The building is completely abandoned. It takes both of you several weeks just to make it presentable again. Father Ulrich has yet to arrive. You and Jean have kept your arrival a secret, but you cannot wait any longer. Today is the day when a sacred conclave must assemble in every province of the Empire. You will have to make your presence known to the brothers and sisters of the clergy and announce your mission to purge heresy and apostasy. Interesting. I mean, Ulrich did not do a lot to make him our friend, right? Like, I don't necessarily trust Jean. I don't think Jean is on the level either. But yeah. The Inquisition cloak goes hard. Listen. I'm about to say something really messed up. But there's something about a man in uniform. Smile. During a sacred conclave, each province elects a patriarch to represent the faith for the next 8 years. In the old days, every man and woman of the flock had to attend the conclave, but that tradition is long gone. Now, only the clergy have a say. Conclave Day is a sacred day indeed. On this day, the twins themselves descend and reside within the temples of the Empire. They bear witness to the chosen patriarchs of each province, the holiest among equals, and men who will speak to the gods themselves on behalf of their flock. Cassius assumed the patriarchate after the tragic death of Patriarch Photis and has not been presented to the twins yet. Nevertheless, there is no doubt Cassius will be elected by the clergy of Magro once again. The conclave is held at the temple by the Silver Tree. The last time you went there, you were just a little boy. You were struck by the tree even then, but now you gaze at it as though it were an old friend. As an inquisitor, you no longer need to touch the tree to feel the life beating within it. The square by the Silver Tree is rarely crowded, but today it is packed. All 3 lots are represented here in ample numbers. The nobles repose in soft chairs in the shade of the tents. The clergy file into the temple, one by one. The common folk swarm the square, pushing and shoving for a better view. You hear cries of joy, a hum of approval and applause. The common people do indeed favor Cassius. You and Jean have to push through the crowd to reach the temple doors. Not even Eterna had crowds this big. I thought we'd be trampled for sure. Before entering the temple, you place your hand on the trunk of the tree. It is remarkably warm. At least one thing is still the same. There are over 100 people in the temple. All the clergy of Magra are gathered here, from the abbots of the principal Magran temples to traveling preachers. Most wear the black robes of the old faith. In the far corner of the hall, however, you see several priests of the new faith. Few in number and dressed in white, they keep to the side. You and Jean sit in the front row. The others eye you with curiosity and suspicion. You catch your names among the whispers that fill the temple. It seems your arrival was a secret to no one. There is so much fear in them, so much hatred. Do you think they're hiding something, or has someone poisoned their minds against our order? Oh, you mean us, the Inquisitors, Jean, who lock up witches with, like, literal freaking collars and send them off to a place where then they are wielded by Father Ulrich as, like, weapons of war? No, I don't think they're afraid of us. I think they think we're besties. The cheering of the crowd drowns out Jean's words. Patriarch Cassius is approaching, blessing the people around him as he crosses the square. The Patriarch enters the temple. The doors are locked behind him. The clamor grows quiet. Oh boy, the fact that the doors are locked behind him with over 100 people inside of this place, Not a good vibe. Cassius has a pleasant look about him, a sturdy, middle-aged man. He greets people with a soft, peaceful smile. Those gathered at the temple rise from the pews to greet the patriarch. The priests in white cassocks are the last to rise. One of them, a priest of considerable age, catches your attention. You are struck by his clean-shaven face and uncannily sharp look in his eye. The trim of his cassock is embroidered with gold, and his hand rests upon a long staff to help him stand. That is Father Leonard. He's been the abbot of this temple for over 20 years. I remember him as a wise and kindly man, but my sorrow for him knows no measure now. Fotis's teachings have clouded his mind. The patriarch greets the audience with a dignified bow, and everyone takes their seats. Cassius slowly ascends the stairs to the altar of the twins and kneels before their images. The words of his prayer echo throughout the temple.
O heavenly lords, O givers of life, the younger defender of the world, judge and counselor, the elder, the spirit of truth and love, filling everything with his presence. We humbly abide by your law, by the 3 lots of Esotius. May the righteous achieve eternal bliss, and may the sinners suffer retribution without mercy. In your sight, I hereby relinquish my authority as patriarch. May you allow your children to elect him who shall take my place.
The air feels heavy, as though it is pressing down on you. The priests remain motionless, holding their breath. An incredible, all-consuming silence falls upon the room. In this silence, you hear the faint patter of footsteps across the temple. The moment slowly passes. The illusion fades. The air becomes light again. A staff taps against the tiles. The leader of the new faith approaches Cassius.
We have seen their sign. The twins are with us now. I, Father Leonard, abbot of the temple by the silver tree, declare the sacred conclave open. Father Cassius, would you please join the rest?
With a smile, Cassius does so.
And so, the conclave of Magra must elect a patriarch to speak to the twins on behalf of our faith for the next 8 years to come. Speak the names of those who are worthy.
Several dozen voices answer his call, all at once. Cassius!
Cassius!
Father Cassius! No other candidate is mentioned. Father Leonard rubs the bridge of his nose before he continues.
So, you have spoken the name of Father Cassius. I hear none other. Then let us begin the ceremony.
The acolytes give every priest 2 stones, one black and one white. An enormous bowl is brought to stand before the altar of the twins. Once the stones have filled the bowl, Father Leonard begins to count them, dividing them into 2 piles on either side of the altar for all to see. I count 1 black stone for each new believer here. Does this mean that all the others trust him without reservation?
Then let the will of the sacred conclave be done beneath the watchful eyes of the twins. Father Cassius shall be our patriarch. He shall be our voice before the twins and our mentor in this earthly realm.
Cassius steps before the altar, a soft smile still on his face.
Before the image of the twins, I accept my burden as patriarch of Magra. May the wisdom of the younger and the power of the elder grant me strength in this service.
The priests rise from the pews once again to cheer for the new patriarch. Father Leonard raises a hand, calling for silence.
Brothers and sisters, this conclave is concluded. But before we exit this temple, to announce the name of the new patriarch to the people, we must first hear out the inquisitors who have come to our province. They will proclaim their mission so that each priest may relay their words to his or her parish. Uh-oh. Talk about knowing how to make an entrance. You and Jean take a step towards the altar, but an unexpected creaking sound startles those within the temple. The temple doors burst open. An armed squad marches into the hall, champions of the faith, warriors of the Order of the Inquisition. They are led by Inquisitor Ulrich. He holds an edict sealed with 3 seals. Ulrich, buddy, I don't mean to accuse you of being an absolute hooligan, but if we've got soldiers, why did we let Patriarch Junius go? It's fine. Who dares violate the laws of the sacred conclave? The doors of this temple must remain closed until a new patriarch has been elected. The patriarch's voice booms within the temple walls, as though the twins themselves share his indignation. And yet, Inquisitor Ulrich only raises his eyebrows in response. But Patriarch, the conclave has concluded, has it not? I am Inquisitor Ulrich. I have been sent by the Order of the Inquisition to purge the last remnants of Shar Milanidis' legacy from your province. Anyone insolent enough to stand in my way shall be branded an ally of the heretics and sentenced to true death. Wow, bud, that's the way you want to come in here, huh? Real Warhammer 40k, huh? We don't hold power here, Ulrich. You exchange a quick glance with Jean. Purging the dark legacy of Shar Milanidis from the province may be a trumped-up excuse, but it grants an Inquisitor incredible authority. Here in Magra, it is all too easy to tie anyone and anything to the rebellious Duke. There are 2 other Inquisitors present here. I want their voices to be heard, not just by the members of the Conclave, but by the common people as well. The clergy of Magra often tend to ignore or utterly distort the will of the Inquisition. I am here to prevent this from happening. I mean, you know what, though? It is a power play by Ulrich. His words are met with indignant cries, but Father Ulrich remains still, his piercing gaze transfixing Cassius, waiting for an answer. The Patriarch is perplexed at first, but he slowly begins to regain his composure as he recognizes the support he enjoys on the part of the clergy. You have no right to bring strife to this house of the twins. Magra never required the attention of the Inquisition when I was its Patriarch, and nothing has changed. Our congregation's faith is stronger than ever. The confidence in his voice grows. The other priests support him with shouts of encouragement. Inquisitor Ulrich takes several steps towards Cassius. Those are powerful words, Patriarch. The Order of the Inquisition wants to determine whether or not they are true. If they are, we will leave Magra. Ulrich gestures for you to come closer. But I have interrupted your speech, Inquisitors. Come, make our intentions known. I am certain the people will give you their due attention now. Brother Elish, kindly address those who have gathered here today from the temple's steps. Put the Magrans at ease. You address the gathering with words of peace and reconciliation. Abso-fucking-lutely not. You address the gathering with words of accusation. You know what? If we're gonna go full send, we're gonna go full send. You stand on the steps of the temple. The crowd watches your face distraught. The clergy stare at your back, wary and alert. It is as though the entire city has gathered to hear you speak.
You proclaim that the Inquisition has come to Magra because this province is a boundless field in need of weeding. You are here to weed out all heresies and sects, all apostates, mages, and witches. Those whose faith is weak should expect no mercy from you. You will uproot their false doctrines and burn their sinful bodies at the stake. You hear murmurs among the crowds. They expected to hear the name of the new patriarch, not a furious tirade. Patriarch Cassius steps out from behind you. He raises his arms to the sky to quell the growing discontent. My friends, this Inquisitor is young and zealous. His words may be harsh, but his intentions are laudable and virtuous. The Order wishes to weed out heresy, such as their calling. But we all know that we are free of sin. There are neither witches nor apostates among us. And now, good Inquisitors, excuse me while I announce the conclusion of the conclave to my flock. You breathe a sigh of relief only when you return to the Inquisition ward. Both Jean and Ulrich are clearly pleased with your speech. I was told to act as your mentor. The first thing I will tell you is this. Always remain just as resolute and steadfast as you were today. We are the servants of the twins. We are their shield, their sword of punishment. Remember this and cast away all fear and indecision. Inquisitor Brante, you reminded the sinners of Magra that retribution is inevitable. Every man and woman in this province shall know that the Inquisition will pursue all heresy relentlessly. There is no punishment we cannot employ to crush the apostates. This is going to be rough. You two will handle the affairs of the Order while I investigate the Patriarch's schemes. Dismissed. Our family's reputation has gone up, though. Alright, it's the Sacred Conclave. But that, lads, is all they wrote for us today. Thank you all so much for being here and for hanging out as we futz about with the life and suffering of Sir Brante. We are, in fact, going to be doing another stream of this tomorrow. Potentially our last one, although from what I've been hearing, this part is exceptionally long. So, who knows? Maybe we won't be able to make it all the way. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled. But again, I want to say thank you so much to everybody for hanging out. And when we return tomorrow, more of the life and suffering of Sir Elish Brante. But for now, let's see about raiding into somebody, hey? You know what? It is very silly, but almost selfishly again. Kitty Beans is currently rating their, streaming their M2S blind prog. It's them as well as Oh That's Jordan and a couple other people that we've interacted with in the past. So I'm going to send y'all over that way. Be polite, be respectful, respect the blind prog, and let me know if there's any important strats. I hear there's a lot of dick drawing that's necessary for Savage. I've been trying to brush up on my skills there. But yeah. All right. I'll catch you dweebs later. Bye.